Legends don't live in books. They live in Alaska. Here, native stories of raven and bear still echo in totems by the sea. This is where ice carves mountains sharper than any blade. It's where rivers rip through canyons that no one has ever named. And here, wildlife still moves like ancient characters in a saga. Caribou migrations, eagle flights, whale songs. But the biggest legend of all is the land itself. Raw, untamed, unapologetic. Glaciers and fjords, volcanoes and tundras, all stitched together into a story still being written. This is where myth and reality blend seamlessly. Today we'll reveal wonders of Alaska that make the legend real. Anchorage. Anchorage isn't just a city, it's Alaska's heartbeat, sitting between the rugged Chugach Mountains and the vast waters of Cook Inlet. This unique location gives Anchorage a landscape where glaciers meet skyscrapers and moose sometimes wander down suburban streets. The setting creates a natural playground where city life and untamed wilderness overlap seamlessly. History here is surprisingly young. The city was born from the Alaska Railroad project in 1914. But what it lacks in age, it makes up for in character, resilience, and stories of survival. Anchorage is often mistaken as Alaska's capital, but what it really is the hub where everything begins. It's the gateway to Denali, the Kenai Fjords, and countless national parks. Yet at the same time, it's a city that celebrates its own rhythm. Anchorage is home to the ceremonial start of the Iditarod, one of the most legendary races in the world. It's where the Fur Rendezvous Festival lights up the cold winter with energy, color, and community spirit. Native Alaskan culture pulses strongly here, visible in traditional art, storytelling, and festivals. Visitors can experience this firsthand at the Alaska Native Heritage Center. Local markets and craft fairs also showcase indigenous traditions, from intricate beadwork to authentic Alaskan cuisine. The Anchorage Museum adds another dimension, blending science, art, and Arctic innovation. In summer, Anchorage becomes a city that never truly sleeps, thanks to nearly 20 hours of daylight. Imagine biking along the coastal trail while the sun hangs low, golden and endless. Wildlife isn't hidden here. It's part of everyday encounters. It's not unusual to see moose crossing highways or eagles soaring above downtown. For those who love the outdoors, the Tony Knowles Coastal Trail stretches 11 miles of scenic wonder. Anchorage is where opposites meet, urban yet wild, modern yet ancient. It dares you to see how humans and nature can live not in conflict, but in harmony. Juno. Imagine a capital city where there are no highways leading in or out. A place cradled between glaciers, mountains, and the endless sea. This is Juno, Alaska's hidden capital, where wild beauty surrounds every street. Born during the gold rush of the 1880s, Juno has always drawn dreamers and adventurers. Today, it stands as a city that balances governance with raw wilderness. The Mendenhall Glacier looms nearby, a frozen river of ice stretching 12 miles long. Its caves glow in shades of blue, like a cathedral carved by nature itself. Hiking trails snake through lush rainforests, while icy blue icebergs drift silently in glacial lakes. Whale-watching tours leave the harbor, giving people a chance to see humpbacks breaching in their natural habitat. Downtown Juneau itself is colorful, with historic buildings, quirky shops, and lively seafood restaurants. The Alaska State Capitol stands as a modest but powerful symbol of governance in this rugged land. Beyond politics, the city embraces Native Alaskan heritage, with cultural events and art that keep traditions alive. Juneau thrives on contrasts, politics and wilderness, history and modernity, isolation and connection. Every corner feels cinematic, as if you're walking through a scene painted in glacier blue and forest green. From Mount Roberts Tramway, panoramic views stretch endlessly across mountains, islands, and shimmering waters. In winter, the northern silence wraps Juno in a beauty that feels timeless. Fishermen bring in salmon and halibut daily, making the cuisine here as authentic as the landscape itself. Juno is more than Alaska's political center. It's a city where wilderness, history, and culture collide. It invites you to slow down, breathe deeply, and feel the magic of Alaska's untamed capital. Ketchikan. Ketchikan is often called the first city of Alaska because it's the first stop for travelers cruising the Inside Passage. Tucked between steep mountains and the waters of Tongass Narrows, this city feels like it's carved right out of the rainforest. It's known as the salmon capital of the world, and the rivers here literally shimmer with fish in summer. Founded in the late 1800s as a salmon cannery hub, Ketchikan's history is deeply tied to the sea. But what sets it apart is its rich native heritage, especially of the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian peoples. Totem poles stand proudly across the city, telling stories of ancestors, legends, and spiritual beliefs. At Totem Bight State Park, visitors walk among these monuments of history and heritage. Creek Street tells another chapter, once a rowdy red light district, now a boardwalk alive with art and music. The creek below still runs thick with salmon, a reminder that nature always leads the story here. Out on the water, Misty Fjords National Monument calls with its soaring cliffs and deep blue fjords. Float planes lift off the harbor, carrying travelers into landscapes so dramatic they defy imagination. Ketchikan's rainforest setting makes it one of the rainiest cities in America, but locals embrace it with humor. They say, if you can't handle the rain, you can't handle Alaska. The surrounding Tongass National Forest is the largest temperate rainforest in the world, full of bald eagles, bears, and towering cedars. Adventurers come here to kayak through misty fjords or fly over Misty Fjords National Monument by float plane. From the air, cliffs plunge thousands of feet straight into deep blue fjords. It's a view you'll never forget. Street murals and carvings capture the spirit of the community in bright, bold colors. Despite its size, the city has a lively cultural scene, with festivals and performances celebrating its heritage. Ketchikan isn't just a port of call, it's a living, breathing story of the sea, the rainforest, and the people who thrive between them. Every raindrop here carries a little bit of Alaska's untamed magic. Sitka. On the edge of the Pacific, where rainforest meets ocean, lies Sitka. It's a town framed by mountains, guarded by a sleeping volcano, and surrounded by islands. This is Alaska, but with a story unlike anywhere else. Sitka was once the crown jewel of Russian America, and traces of that empire still linger. But older still are the voices of the Tlingit people, who have called this land home for centuries. The Sheldon Jackson Museum adds another layer, housing one of the finest collections of native artifacts in Alaska. Beyond history, Sitka is wrapped in natural beauty that feels almost cinematic. Mount Edgecumbe, a dormant volcano, stands like a sentinel across the bay. Bald eagles soar overhead, while sea otters float playfully along the shoreline. Humpback whales and orcas can be spotted just offshore, turning Sitka's waters into a wildlife stage. The Sitka National Historical Park invites visitors to walk among towering trees and centuries of cultural heritage. Kayakers paddle between islands, surrounded by rainforest on one side and the open Pacific on the other. Music and art festivals add vibrancy, proving that Sitka's culture is as alive as its wilderness. For photographers, Sitka is pure gold: misty mountains, historic sites, and endless wildlife encounters. Every day here feels like an adventure waiting to unfold. Locals often say Sitka is where Alaska's wild soul meets its deepest traditions. Sitka isn't just a stop along the way, it's a destination that captures the essence of Alaska's spirit. Seward. Seward is a small city with a big reputation, tucked at the head of Resurrection Bay on Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. Just 125 miles south of Anchorage by highway, it feels both close to civilization and right at the edge of the wild. This harbor town has long been a gateway to Alaska's natural wonders. It was founded in 1903 as the southern terminus of the Alaska Railroad, making it one of the state's oldest communities. Today, Seward is known as the doorway to Kenai Fjords National Park. Here, massive tidewater glaciers calve into the sea with thunderous splashes. The Harding ice field stretches for hundreds of square miles, feeding over 30 glaciers into the surrounding valleys. The Alaska Sea Life Center adds another dimension, letting visitors see marine creatures up close while supporting vital research. Seward is also famous for its Mount Marathon race, an annual test of grit and stamina. Thousands gather each July 4th to watch runners scale the near vertical slopes and plunge back into town. Along the waterfront, RVs and campers line up with some of the most stunning backdrops in the state. The harbor buzzes with fishing boats, kayaks, and tour vessels ready for the next adventure. Art and history shine too, with colorful murals and small museums capturing Seward's past. This is a town where wilderness defines life, and life thrives in the shadow of wilderness. Every moment in Seward feels like a scene from a film, grand, untamed, unforgettable. For many, Seward isn't just a destination. It's the start of the Alaskan adventure they've been dreaming of. And once you've been here, it's a place you'll always want to return to. Valdez. On the shores of Prince William Sound, framed by towering mountains and endless water, lies Valdez. It is a city defined by both its beauty and its resilience. At 305 miles east of Anchorage, it is remote, yet vital, Alaska's northernmost ice-free port. Here, tankers carry oil from the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, while fishing boats return heavy with salmon and halibut. But Valdez is more than industry. It is a town born of history and tested by disaster. Once known as Copper City, it was renamed in 1898 as gold seekers poured through its harbor, chasing dreams. The Spaniards had first named this place for naval officer Antonio Valdez y Bazan never knowing how many lives it would touch. The Great Alaska Earthquake of 1964 devastated the original town site. In the aftermath, residents made the bold decision to rebuild 5 miles west on more stable ground. Nature remains the true ruler here, with glaciers descending from the Chugach Mountains into the sea. Worthington Glacier invites travelers to touch the frozen heart of Alaska with their own hands. In winter, the scene shifts dramatically. Snow piles high on the Chugach Mountains, drawing skiers and snowboarders from around the globe. Valdez is considered the snow capital of Alaska, with some of the deepest powder anywhere in North America. Heli skiing has made the town legendary among adrenaline seekers. But adventure isn't only for the extreme. Families hike, camp, and explore the lush valleys in summer. The town itself is small but lively, with harborside restaurants, local art, and a welcoming community. Colorful fishing boats line the marina, their crews swapping stories of the sea. Everywhere you look, the scenery feels larger than life, almost cinematic. Valdez is Alaska distilled, history, wilderness, and human grit converging in one breathtaking place. It is not just a town on the map, it is a testament to survival in the face of nature's power. Glacier Bay National Park. There are places where nature whispers, and places where it roars. Glacier Bay is both. This UNESCO World Heritage Site in southeastern Alaska is a cathedral of ice and stone. Spread across more than 5,100 square miles, it feels endless, eternal, untamed. Glacier Bay itself is a fjord alive with motion, where rivers of ice carve, grind, and reshape the earth. Mount Fairweather rises 15,300 feet into the sky, a silent guardian of this frozen kingdom. The park's glaciers tell a story written in time, retreating and advancing over centuries. Then come the glaciers, towering walls of ice that creak, crack, and collapse into the bay with a sound like thunder. It's a spectacle of nature's raw power, and it never repeats the same way twice. The silence is broken only by the crack of icebergs splitting away from massive tidewater glaciers. Scientists study this living laboratory to understand climate change, geology, and ecology. The contrast is striking. Lush green forests pressing against barren, glacial landscapes. In a single day, you can witness centuries of ecological succession, from bare rock to old-growth trees. The Tlingit people have long called this region home, carrying stories of glaciers advancing and retreating across the land. Rangers share these stories with visitors, connecting culture to the rhythms of the landscape. Glacier Bay is not just scenery, it is history, culture, and the living pulse of the natural world. It is Alaska at its most majestic, timeless, and unforgettable. Denali National Park. There is a place where mountains touch the sky and silence carries the weight of eternity. Denali National Park. Spread across 6 million acres, it is a wilderness without fences, without limits, without compromise. At its heart stands Denali, the high one, the tallest peak in North America. At 20,310 feet, it is not just a mountain, but a monument to the Earth's power. Clouds often shroud its summit, but when it appears, the sight is unforgettable. Around it stretch tundra plains painted in shades of gold, green, and rust. Rivers carve silver paths through valleys, while glaciers slowly grind their way toward the lowlands. The air feels sharper here, charged with the energy of untamed nature. The Big Five, bear, moose, caribou, wolf, and Dall sheep, are the stars of the park. But adventure here is more than wildlife watching. It's camping under a sky painted with midnight sun or northern lights. It's trekking into valleys where glaciers carve new landscapes each year. The park road winds deep into the wilderness, offering rare glimpses of animals roaming freely across vast horizons. It's rafting the Nenana River, with snow-capped peaks towering above. Denali is also about stories, indigenous heritage, pioneer explorers, and modern-day adventurers. Each journey into Denali is unpredictable, shaped by weather, wildlife, and sheer wilderness. Photographers chase fleeting moments here. Golden light on tundra, a wolf silhouetted against snow, the mountain breaking through clouds. For scientists, the park is a living laboratory of climate, ecology, and geology. For travelers, it's a chance to step into one of Earth's last great frontiers. Denali is not just a park, it is the soul of Alaska in its purest form. Fairbanks. In Fairbanks, the sky is never just a backdrop, it is the main event. By winter, curtains of green and purple light dance above the frozen landscape. By summer, the sun refuses to set, bathing the city in endless golden glow. This rhythm of extremes defines life in the golden heart of Alaska. But Fairbanks is more than celestial wonder. It is a city with deep roots. Long before gold miners arrived, and Athabascan peoples roamed these lands, following the rivers and seasons. In 1902, fortune seekers struck gold, and a town rose from the wilderness. Named after Charles Warren Fairbanks, the city quickly became a hub of ambition and grit. During World War II, Fairbanks again found itself in the spotlight. Its airfields were key in sending U.S. aircraft to Soviet allies, cementing its place in global history. But history is only half the story. On winter nights, travelers gather under the sky as the aurora flickers like green fire. In summer, the city glows with nearly 24 hours of daylight, fueling endless energy and activity. The University of Alaska Fairbanks adds another layer, leading Arctic research and education at the top of the world. The city is also a launch point for true adventure. Fairbanks is also the stepping stone to the Arctic, where adventure stretches beyond the horizon. Yet, no matter where you go, the heartbeat of this city is tied to the sky. Fairbanks is where the earth feels vast, and the heavens seem closer than anywhere else. It is Alaska distilled into one extraordinary place. Unalaska Island. Picture yourself standing on a windswept ridge, the ocean crashing below, and clouds racing over volcanic peaks. That's Unalaska Island, a place that feels like the final frontier. It is the largest of the eastern Aleutians, yet it remains largely untouched by modern life. For thousands of years, the Unangan people called this island home. They mastered survival here, fishing in dangerous seas and navigating storms in sleek, skin-covered kayaks. When Russians arrived in the 18th century, they brought trade, conflict, and a new faith. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Unalaska was thrust into history again. During World War II, Japanese bombers attacked the island, forever changing its story. Bunkers and relics remain, silent witnesses to those turbulent times. Today, Unalaska Island is known worldwide through its busy fishing hub, Dutch Harbor. The port ranks as the #1 seafood landing site in the nation. But beyond industry, the island offers extraordinary natural beauty. Sunsets bleed across the horizon, painting the Aleutian sky in colors that seem otherworldly. Seabirds wheel in the sky, sea otters drift in kelp beds, and whales breach just offshore, reminding visitors of the island's rich wildlife. Life here is hard, but it is also raw, pure, and profoundly real. The community is small but close-knit, thriving together in one of the most remote corners of America. Unalaska Island doesn't just exist, it endures. It is Alaska distilled into its wildest essence. For those who journey here, the island offers not just a destination, but a revelation.